gas canisters. I had somebody say they're gonna give us a gas canister for our,
Out of
for
the
the,
goodness of their heart?
yeah. You know what they told me? They want us to pay for a canister? $400. I said, well, I got 3 sitting here. How much you gonna pay me? We got $1,200 for the canister sitting in the building.
Somebody did. I'm assuming that they just went. Yeah. So you just. Well, wait a minute.
That came from Russell Augustine.
What's going on? Otherwise, I wouldn't say that.
So,
It's a tennis court, everybody uses the fucking.
Sorry if I go turn it on?
Yeah, I can right now. I don't know how I'll be tomorrow.
I gotta be at the surgery at
Is Greg good to go?
no,
Okay.
they will not be available.
Well, they
that
said
day.
probably
I called
be
them,
one of the first.
so he's not available.
All right, no problem.
I can't eat, do anything, don't take medicine or anything.
No, they're on.
Well, I think you said about 20 minutes.
Not for me.
I asked her what you called. It's usually about an hour after you get here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I don't care, I'm just.
Siri, turn my light off, please.
Don't you know how to do it?
Well, it's right there. I just thought I would do it, but apparently she can't, so. Well, I just hit it.
No, it's still on.
You gotta push it.
Alexa, turn off my flashlight. Oh, no, she's serious.
No,
it's
it's
all-
off.
Okay, I know, but my whole thing is really, whatever one, whoever you are, it's off now, good. Thank you.
I mean, I didn't care. I
Well,
just-
no, but I didn't know how that even. I'm good at doing things like that.
Okay, we'll call the special meeting of the Cuckown Township Board for April 26th. We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Class. Here. Petremont.
Here.
Davidson.
Here.
Campbell.
Here.
DeShana. Here.
I left the previous minutes on here, but we're not gonna do those until the May meeting, which will be the April minutes. Public input.
Brad Eddy, 1890 South Huron Road. I got some documents here for the board that relate to the Wheeland Drive and the power poles. These are from the DEQ, and there's even documents in here of your township ordinances that show they're violating it. I'd like these added to correspondences and to be kept into all the meeting minutes. Also, I'd like to explain to the board some of your supervisor's actions. At a restaurant I often frequent, Mr. Davidson has tried to get camera footage after a BCTOA meeting on 4 different occasions. And actually told the people there that he will get that footage one way or another. I don't consider this appropriate for an elected official. Last Tuesday, Mr. Davison again, and I did talk with the sheriff about that incident, and he said Mr. Davison has no rights to that footage. So last Tuesday, Mr. Davison was in my parking lot taking photos of me or looking at me planting trees. Then he drove over to the Whelans driveway. So on Friday, the Whelans began to tear apart a house across the road. On Saturday, I received a phone call stating I was a complainant from one of the Whelans. That is false. I was not a complainant. Now, evidently everybody at that business feels I am the complainant because I live next door. So, Mr. Davidson, I'd like to know how those people came up with me being the person who complained. Now, along with those documents I just gave you guys, there's plenty of violations with those wetlands and the road. That's been put in. The power poles stated in those documents by federal and state officials show they violate state and federal law. The road violates your ordinance, Calhoun Townships. It requires a special use permit. And, I mean, what I find concerning here is the keeper of the records seems to not have multiple records that multiple citizens have asked for. And if you FOIA Eagle or the DEQ, you get documents dating back to, you can date back all the way to 2002 for emails. And they still have them. They don't get rid of them like Calhoun Township does. The destruction of communications needs to end in this township. And I think it begins with you, Sam. Quit covering up the Whelan stuff. You have conflicts of interest that you need to expose with the Whelans.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Jeremy Bloom, 2110 Fraser. Not sure, looking at your agenda here, the township yard maintenance. First of all, to the trustee, I took the flag down tonight.
Thank you.
The other one is supposed to be delivered, they said May 3rd through the 5th, so as soon as it gets delivered, it will go up.
Figured.
Yeah, what do you call it? The wood around there, I noticed it's been beat up by the lawnmowers pretty bad, the screws and stuff are tore out of it.
The border.
Yeah, the edging, so I have Fridays off now, so I'll be able to come up and get that taken care of and get some mulch now that it's springtime, so that will be taken care of. But under your township yard maintenance, I guess we'll find out what that's about here shortly, but I know when Uncle Bob Bennix took care of this township, it never looked like it did. He took care of weeds. We didn't have dandelions, clover everywhere. Grass half cut, taken care of. Hopefully we're addressing that tonight to find somebody to take care of it properly so it looks like a presentable township. The other thing I see in your minutes is tennis court painting. Curious to see how much that's going to cost because when I worked here as a full-time firefighter, that whole time I never seen anybody on those tennis courts. So it's kind of interesting how much we're going to spend on something that's rarely used. That, and I noticed the swings ain't up. Is there a reason there's no swings up? And what are we doing about that? So that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Although it's not a Q&A, I will tell you that the proposal is to paint the tennis court as a pickleball court, which is a little bit more commonly,
Up to date.
yes, yeah, a little more commonly used these days.
Gotcha.
As a resident, I would like to talk, because I wondered when I saw kids playing, I'm Charles Campbell, resident on M13. They were practicing soccer out here the one night, but there were no nets, no nothing. And as I was driving back after looking at the flagpole and the Veterans Memorial there, I noticed that the goalie posts are thrown over there in the woods. And they need to be brought out of the woods and painted so that when the kids come here and they want to play soccer, they at least have the goalie post. They don't have nets, but at least they would have that much so they can aim at that versus between two sticks.
Good idea.
Hey, that's not only to, it's not to change the tennis courts into pickleball courts. It's to keep the tennis courts and add pickleball lines inside the tennis courts. So you're not taking away from the tennis courts, you're just adding another feature to it. It's a two-in-one deal.
Thank you for clarifying that.
And you are
Scott Wagner.
Scott Wagner. She needs your name for the minutes. All right, moving forward to new business. Yard maintenance is the mowing. And cutting around the poles and the fences and the buildings. And spraying or keeping the infields clean. At this particular moment, we do have a girls' league on the Diamond One, and they're gonna take care of the infield and that there for a while. So I expect school's out. And there is a boys' league practicing. I don't know if they're gonna have any games on the second field, and they have come in and was working on the infields and that recently. But usually after baseball season's over, then we have to take care of those infields, keep the weeds down. So we have, I think it's 4 bids, 5 bids. Obviously.
I only have 4.
That's what I was sanded today.
Oh, I have A&M, that was in my box.
Yeah,
I
I got
desired.
that late after I got, and then,
Well, I've got Desired, I've got TJC, and I have Scott Wagner. So I don't know which one I'm missing.
okay, so you didn't, Property
I
Guardian,
don't
you
have
didn't get that one?
No, I didn't get that one.
Probably A&M one, or.
No, she's got it in there, she said.
Yeah, I've got
Here's
A&M.
property guardian.
I don't have that one. That's the one I don't have.
Well, you wanna read it? There you go.
Well, Property Guardian is at a cost of $1,800 per mowing. And then Desired is at 15, and these two are going to do the trimming around the poles and fences and that like with a weed whacker instead of spraying it. If we would accept these ones that are not spraying, then we would have to make sure that we talk to them on how we're gonna take care of the infield when the ball league is leave. Because once those grow weeds, then that would be a disaster for the sand.
Used to use drags. We didn't use chemicals.
And actually, on the Desired Lawn Care bid, it says if weeds need spraying, that will be an additional charge. We use a natural alternative for weed control. Just saying, giving full information here.
And then we have two, one's at $600 per mowing. And
That one increases every year too.
Yeah,
yes,
8%.
I did request a 3-year bid, and he's the only one that gave us a bid other than the rest of these are all 1-year bids.
Can you say again who they are, Sam?
One was Property Guardian for $1,800. This is Desired Lawn Care at $1,500, and they're gonna hand trim. If weeds need spraying, that will be in it. Well, that's the one you just read.
Yeah, natural alternative.
Yeah, I think they have some goats they're gonna use around the fences. One is TJC Contracting, which is the cynics that are mowing at this particular moment. This other one is A&M Lawn Care, and he's at $600. And bid does not include spraying or fertilizing. I don't know what he's gonna do about bidding, or spraying, because anybody that was going to do spraying, with Roundup or anything, I asked for they're gonna have to furnish the license properly for it.
Did you give an amount on Cinex?
No, Cinex was $5.75 per mowing, and then if they use their tractor, it's $100 an hour, which fixing driveways, brush, cleanup, walking trail. I don't know if we've ever cleaned the walking trail, have we?
Do you have the original there in your hand?
For
The Cynic one that you're holding? Can I see the original, please?
And then we have one here from Wagner Lawn Care and Janitorial Service. And they're at $5.75. Spring and fall cleanup includes brush removal, is $90 per hour. Proposal to trim around fencing and buildings for $90 per hour. That's on top of the mowing. And all Roundup will be applied. No Roundup will be applied. Price includes labor, fuel, and equipment. So apparently they are going to trim with a trimmer at $90 an hour around all the fences. And again, if we accepted their bid, we would have to find out how we're gonna handle the infields after the kids leave.
Would that be covered underneath their $90 an hour?
No, it says trimming around fencing and buildings for $90 an hour.
Now, question with your spray license that you talked about. When they're furnishing that, are they also furnishing their insurance by MDARD rules? They
They're
have to
all
furnish.
going to, whatever we take is good. When I sent this out for bids, they knew they have to have insurance.
Okay.
You have your hand up.
I have no issues or no problems with dragging those infields. I have no problems. I have the equipment to do it.
Well, we have a drag. It's
I
that
got the equipment to do it.
we allow the Baldies to use. Obviously, they have to bring their own four-wheeler or whatever they're gonna pull it with, but there is a drag out here.
Good. Good.
So you are this Wagner
Right
here.
here, yes.
At $90 an hour, is that what you're thinking?
Sure.
We'll drag
No
infields.
spraying, though.
No
No
spraying,
spraying.
this is just dragging.
Just dragging.
We'll drag infields at $90 per hour.
So I believe A&M actually quoted last year as well. I believe they were one we had considered last year for this. The reason that I asked for the original is that I thought that the numbers looked a little bit interesting on the bid from TJC. And so I wanted to see the original to see if they'd actually been modified. And if you catch it in just the right light, it kind of looks like it has. Like there's some white out in there. It's been then brushed off. Just find that interesting that it's the same as the other lowest bid.
Now, you guys are making comments about no spraying. I apologize, I haven't been here all winter, so I missed a lot of the fun, I guess. The dandelions, the clover that's choking out the grass. We need to do something, and not spraying is not gonna solve the problem. We have a nice manicured area here, yard, garden, whatever you wanna call it. Salvo, I think Sam would be familiar with that. Every farmer uses it. It's something that I think the board needs to look at for these bids. I know I keep stressing the no spraying, and it was brought up about kids and this and that, but if we wanna keep our nice manicured lawn, like I said,
Well, what we
Bob
learned-
Vennick's took very well care of it and sprayed it, we never had any problems.
We learned last year that spraying here at the township is a special license. It's not just a regular agricultural Roundup type license,
Mhm.
because So,
They have to have a turf endorsement on their license, a 3A.
well, this TJC, which is Cinex, has a gal that works for Mosquito Control,
Mosquito Pro.
Mosquito Pro, and she has a Michigan license for pesticides, application business license. I got a copy of that.
Does she have her endorsements on there?
There's 3A, 6, 7A, and F, 7F.
So that wasn't something that was included in the bid last year, it was just the Roundup alternative, right?
Yes.
So, it's either three, I'm a certified applicator, that's why I'm questioning this. I wanna say 3A and 3B, one of them's turf and one of them's ornamental grasses. And I just went through.
We got, I don't want to interrupt you, but we did get a schedule of applicators and what their licenses are that we could use out here from the state.
Okay,
And 3A, 6, and 7A was on that.
okay.
So 7F, I don't know what the 7F was, but
So
but
she's
those-
grabbing my
but
card
those-
right now so I can tell you what
Those
it
were the
is.
three that they said that we could use for being out here for the ball diamond, for the playground and the ball diamond and everything,
Okay.
so. Yeah, 'cause
The
they sent us a
dilemma
whole
last
list.
year is it was chemical sprayed and nothing was marked. Nobody knew anything was being sprayed, and I come here and we got 100 kids out there playing, and then we're talking and it's like, well, they were spraying. It's like, wait a minute, you gotta mark this so these people know that you're spraying.
By Michigan and federal law, pesticides is something that you mark if it has a danger or warning. And I sure hope that nobody would use that in a public area, that type of pesticide. But herbicides, once they are dry on contact, pose no risk. There's Roundup, for example, is a 0-day re-entry. Power Max 3 is the newest commercial Roundup available that a commercial applicator would use. Once it's dried, there is nothing. And Sam can probably attest to this. Monsanto, that used to make the Roundup, our salesperson would come around and actually take a shot of Roundup. We hear all the hype that the news media puts out about Roundup and all these commercials. There's a lot worse things out there that we use. Roundup is salt, soap, and water. So I understand the hand trimming and all that. Yes, it makes sense. But to incur that extra cost for us as a township, it's something we really need to look at. We're surrounded by a field. I guarantee you, there's worse stuff. And those kids can all be playing ball on that field, and the company down in Auburn, the company in Linwood could come and spray that field at any time. And the drift that comes out of that is going to be more than a drift that comes out of anybody's sprayer doing spray here. So kids are our number one priority, don't get me wrong. But for aesthetics and our bang for our buck,